Greetings, computer scientists. So, this video will show you how to start your computational artifact for the Explore task for AP Computer Science Principles. In my instructions, I'm having everyone use an online Photoshop tool called Pixlr.com in order to make your computational artifact. If you are in Mr. Rowe's class, this is slide 21 on the Explore writing task slides. And if you're not in my class, you can just type in the URL here. So when you open up Pixlr, it will look like this. And the first thing you want to do is hit create a new image, and you want to make it fairly big at the beginning. So I'd recommend choosing something really big, like 2000 by 2000 pixels. And hit OK. The next thing you'll need to do is you'll want to create an account so you can end up saving things. So I'll show you. You'll need to hit sign up in the top right corner. I have already made an account, so I am in fact going to log in. And once you have created an account, we can continue. So I'll assume that you've made your account now. If you haven't, you can pause and then replay once you have your account. So the next thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to combine a number of images on this online Photoshop tool in order to make something similar to these two examples. Again, your computational artifact is an illustration, representation, or explanation of your computing innovation's intended purpose, function, or its effect. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use Face ID as an example, and I've looked up some images on Google Images that show how Face ID is used, some of its purposes and effects, as well as a neat graphic showing the 3D depth map of someone's face. So the first thing I'll need to do is I'll need to open those. The first thing I'll need to do is I'll actually need to save these images to my computer. So you'll right-click the images you want and click Save Image As, and you'll write a name that you'll remember later. So let's assume that you have found all the images you'd want to use as part of some sort of collage for your computational artifact. So you can pause the video now, find all the images you want, and then play the video back once you have your images saved to your computer. Okay, so I'm assuming now that you have all the images you want saved. The next thing we'll need to do is open up the images by going to File, Open Image, and you'll need to find those images on your computer. So I found my Face ID images. I'm going to open them, and you can see they're opened as new layers on the online Photoshop. So the most important thing to realize about the images you open is that each image has a unique pixel dimension. So in this case, this is 936 pixels in width by 500 pixels in height, whereas my other image is a little bit smaller, 800 by 450. So in my example, I'm going to use this image as my background image. And I'm going to place the face map on top of the background image. And then I'm going to write some text at the bottom that describes what Face ID's intended purpose or effect is. So the first thing I'll need to do is, if I want to put this image that's larger on top of this image, which is smaller, I'll need to resize this image. And I can do that by going to, well, first thing, you'll need to select the image you want to resize, click Image, Image Size, and then enter the desired pixels you'll want to change it to. So I'm going to make it about the third of the size. So I'm going to change the width to 300 pixels instead of 930. Keep the proportions constrained and click OK. So now we see I've made the image smaller. Go me. The next thing I'll need to do is I'll need to select this image. So I'm going to go to Edit, Select All, and you'll notice that it's made a selection of my image. I'll then need to copy the image and then paste it onto whatever background image I want to choose. So I can either paste it onto this, or I could paste it onto my original template, whatever you want to desire. So in order to paste it, I simply go to Edit, Paste, and I'll make sure that I have the image that I want to paste it onto selected. And voila, it's pasted in the middle. If I want to move this image anywhere on my screen, I'll need to switch to my Move tool. Click on the layer that I want, and then move it to a certain section of the background image. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to add some text. The text tool is on the left-hand side, and it's called the Type tool. And I'm going to click the Type tool. Then I'm going to select where I want to begin typing. So I'm going to type on the very bottom of the screen. So I'm going to click on the bottom, and I'm going to begin typing a short description of what Face ID does. So I'm going to say Face ID creates a 3D depth map of the user's face in order to authenticate their identity and unlock their phone. I might need to choose a different color because I can't see the black on the black background. And you can choose any RGB color here. Change the font and size. Hit OK. Then I'm going to move the text to where I want. So in this case, I need to separate my text into 2 lines. So again, I'll click the layer I want, which is the text layer. And then I'll probably need to hit the Type tool again. And let's see. My guess is that I'll just need to hit Enter where I want to create a new line. So I'm going to hit Enter after the and there we go. And then I might center it, who knows? No center. There we go. And I'd recommend adding more sentences that describe exactly what your computational artifact does. Perhaps you want to make a sort of diagram where you are pointing to certain aspects of your computational innovation and describing what they do. And you can do that by playing around with a lot of these effects. The one thing I'll mention is whenever you want to select a certain layer on your image, you'll need to select it from the right-hand menu where it says Layer. So if I want to move the face map around, I'm going to need to click that layer first. Then I can move it back and forth. If I try to grab my text now, notice that I can't grab the text because I haven't selected that text layer. Finally, when you are done with creating your computational artifact, you'll need to go to File, and you'll need to save it, give it a name that you'll remember, and click OK, and then it will save to your computer. And then once it's saved to your computer, you can post it on either your final document or a Google document so it's saved somewhere where you can find later. So that's all I have for this video. Hopefully you have a decent amount of fortune making your computational artifact, and best of luck.